Hello, friends. Welcome to Level Up with Debbie Neal. I am your host. There is nowhere I would rather be than right here, right now with you. This podcast is all about leveling up in all aspects of our lives. Thank you for being here. I am so grateful. I'm excited to be on this journey with you. Together we are leveling up. You ready? Hello, my Level Up friends. I am so excited to be here, and I love our time together. I know that there are so many life-changing podcasts that you could be listening to right now, and you chose Level Up with Debbie Neal, and it means the world to me. My heart is so full of gratitude. Last week, we spoke about building to win, whatever it is that you are building right now, whether that's a business, whether it's a career, a lifestyle, build it to win. Because here's the thing, time is going to pass. Time is going to go by anyway. We can't stop it. But our goal is to create it, right? To maximize our time, to savor it, to create the most amazing life and to level up. We aren't leveling up when we are building not to lose, when we play it safe, when we listen to the voice inside of our head telling us that we can't. So build to win. We level up our life when we level up, when we go all in with no back door. So today we're going to be talking about a topic that is really important. It's influence. As we level up, here's what happens. We grow our influence. As we grow as a leader, we level up our influence. The ability to influence is an essential leadership skill. So what is influence, right? And so many things come to my mind, and maybe many things come to yours as well. But to influence is to have an impact on the behaviors, the attitudes, and the choices of others. It's the ability to get another person or group, the ones you lead, to operate in a positive way, right? So those are like, if you look it up, like a dictionary type definition of influence. But like when I think of influence, it's your passion, your energy, your vision, your positivity, your goals, your level of leadership inspires people to make choices that's best for them, and they're moving forward in their life based on the influence that you're putting out there. Influence isn't power. Power doesn't bring about commitment, right? And as a leader, we're always looking to grow our leadership, and leadership and influence, they're hand in hand. The result of power is resistance, and we don't boss around. We don't give consequences. Influence isn't coercion. To achieve commitment, which is something we're ultimately looking for when we're developing leaders, it's all about positive influence. When people open themselves up to your influence, what's happening? People trust you. They believe that you have their best interests in mind. Leadership and influence goes hand in hand. Leadership is the application of influence that moves, that grows, that propels an organization forward. I love this quote by John Maxwell. Leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. I love it because it's so powerful, and yet it's so matter of fact. When I think of leadership and influence, immediately I think of John Maxwell. So I don't know if you've read his books. I've read, I want to say all of his books, but there's a lot of them. And most of them I have read several times. So whenever I speak of leadership, I'm sure the core of it is from him. True leadership cannot be awarded. It can't be appointed. It can't be assigned. A job can be assigned, right? Just because someone has a title doesn't mean they're a leader. It only comes from influence. Like it's because influence is about people wanting to follow you. It can't be enforced. It can't be mandated. It must be earned. See, titles, they're not influence. We work for them. We're proud of them. I love them as I was achieving them in my career. But that doesn't make us a leader. It doesn't mean we have influence. Titles, what they do is they buy us time for us to grow our leadership, for us to grow our influence. And if it's not used properly, our title will absolutely undermine our influence. When we're looking to identify leaders, right? True leadership, like look at the following. And I'm not talking about like followers, right? Look at the following. That's different. It's who's their community, right? How many leaders have they empowered? It's using our influence to grow others. An organization is only as good as its people. Most people don't lead, okay? But you're not most people, okay? But most people, they manage. We did an episode on this a while back. Like most people manage their team without influencing them. And what this does is this breeds resentment. Managers focus on just getting the job done rather than growing the leaders, which in turn grows the business. And this is the difference between thriving and surviving. To be successful, our goal is to build influence. It's to stand as leaders, regardless of our title, regardless of our position. So what's my point? Your title doesn't define you. I want you to remember that your title doesn't define you. Like act as if whatever it is you're striving for, show up that way. And I want you to know and believe that you have the potential to have that influence today. Stand in your greatness. Stand in your light. Begin building influence. You have the gift inside of you to transform lives for the better. So today, I am going to be going over 7 factors that build influence. And these are directly from John Maxwell's book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And again, John Maxwell is absolutely my favorite. I think I was thinking one of my favorite leadership authors. He's my favorite leadership author. So number 1, character. Who are you? True leadership begins with the inner person. Our character filters into our entire organization and company. Great character creates the potential for a great organization. And character begins in our heart. And there are so many positive character traits when tied into leadership: honesty, integrity, loyalty, generosity, reliability, compassion, focus, positivity, vision. And those are just a few, okay? So next episode, we're going to be diving deep a bit and talking about the characteristics that make up a leader. Okay. Your character is everything. So who are you? What do you stand for? And what are you known for? Number 2, relationships. Influence is all about building relationships. Build the right kind of relationships with the right people, and you could become a real leader in an organization. In your circle of influence, it's about developing deep, meaningful, real relationships that go beyond the workplace. People will work with you and for you because they like you. Relationships grow loyalty. Relationships grow influence. Relationships grow your business. People don't care what you know until they know that you care. Relationships are so important when we're building influence. People quit teams. People quit a business. People quit a job. But so often people don't quit people. And the relationship is the key. It turns a team into a family. It builds trust in one another. When we develop relationships, people open up. And here's the gift when people open up. When you're coaching someone, right? Or you're coaching someone, right? You're not just talking to them because they're going to tell you something, and they're not telling you something to lie. They're telling you something because that's their perception of their reality. But as you develop a relationship, you know what happens? You begin to peel away the onion. You begin to see the underlining beliefs. You get to see who they are, how they show up, where their confidence level is. When people open up to you, you have the ability to coach them on a whole new level. That's the value of relationships, and that's using your influence for good. So number 3, knowledge. To take the lead, to build influence. My gosh, let's not underestimate the power of knowledge and learning. Now, when I say knowledge, please don't think to be successful, I'm just going to get a book and I'm going to read it and I'm going to be very practical and I'm going to know things in and out. It is so important to know, but I'm a big believer in like, go out there and learn while you're earning, right? Get to work, do, get on the field, get an activity, show up, do all the things, but then behind the scenes, study. You're in the Olympics of whatever industry you're in. No, it's not just about the action. It's about having the knowledge behind the action. So study, learn, practice. Gosh, what's your industry? What's your business? What's your job? What's your sport? Learn it. Practice it. Learn every single thing there is to learn. I could remember starting my business 15 years ago. I wanted to be a sponge. I learned and I learned and I learned and I read and I built my belief and my knowledge of the power of my industry. Why? So I could have influence for the greater good. I wasn't willing to pull back when people had questions. I wasn't going to shrink down when people asked me something that I couldn't answer. I was standing up. I was leaning in. I was proud. I wasn't interested in building a hobby. Never was. Okay. I was committed to building success. I was committed to being in the 1%. This took a lot of different things, but knowledge was one of them. I didn't fear questions. I didn't fear objections. My belief in knowledge was rock solid. And this never ends. Okay. The school is never out for the teacher. We always want to stay up to date on our knowledge. It keeps us relevant. One of my goals was and is to be an ambassador for my industry. And that takes building knowledge along with credibility. Both result in building influence. The more we learn, the more confidence other people have in our abilities, the more confidence we have, right? The more we know, it breeds confidence. And then the more we can teach others, people want to learn from those who know. Leaders don't demand influence. They earn it by learning the way, showing the way, going the way. And let's also, all the knowledge doesn't come from books. It doesn't come from reading. I have grown most of my knowledge by doing, right? I'm learning about my industry, but then I'm building my industry. And with every time I have fallen, with every time I have failed, with every time I've set a goal, with everything, it's like, okay, I'm learning the way. I'm getting up again. I'm going to do it better. I'm showing the way. I'm going the way. It's learning first. It's leading next. It's becoming a master. It's becoming the best student. Learn all you can. This builds credibility. People want to look to those who know. So number 4, intuition. Now this is like, I kind of call this like spidey senses, right? And anybody who's worked with me knows like, okay, I always say I'm kind of like a combination of Santa Claus and Yoda, right? Like I kind of like know. So we've all heard trust your intuition. Leaders learn to seek and recognize energy and morale. Like when you're building influence, you know the energy right away in a room. You know the morale right away. You can feel momentum. Nobody has to tell a leader with influence if they're in momentum or they're not in momentum. They know timing. Leaders feel the energy, the good energy, the bad energy, the positive energy, the negative energy. You know. When you know the energy of your team, when you know the energy of a room, we're building influence. People trust what we feel. Morale. Our goal as a leader is to know the morale, to grow the morale. One of the things that grows morale is influence, having the ability to raise the morale, raise the energy, raise the happiness, raise the level of positivity, to be able to show your team that the glass is always not only half full, it's overflowing. Change the energy in the room. Leaders influence, right? And they create momentum. Leaders know that it begins with them. Leaders go first. They don't wait for momentum. They create it and they enroll their team into their positive wave that's moving forward. Leaders see beyond the obvious that others can't see. And this ability impacts the organization. It impacts the people around them. They have the ability to steer down the best path. Influence moves people. It has the power to breathe positivity. It moves the team in a forward action mode. So number 5, experience. Okay. I love this quote. The greater challenges you have faced in the past, the more likely followers give you a chance in the present. Now, I just don't like followers. When I hear the word followers, I think I don't think unity. I think, when there's this quote, never above me, never below me, always beside me. That's the way I think of my team, right? But what I love about this quote is that the more obstacles you've overcome, the more challenges you've overcome, the more people want to go where you're going. They respect you. You have influence. You've gotten up. All leaders face obstacles, right? They face them in their professional life. They face them in their home life. When we overcome, when we grow in great ways, when we navigate and grow, it builds respect. It builds influence. Teams and people respect where you have been. Have you lost leaders? How do you bounce back? Have you had rejection? How do you show up? Have you set a goal and missed it? What do you do next? This is leadership. This is influence. Your business will rise and fall on your level of leadership. Teams watch. How have you risen and see where you can take them in the future, right? Experience grows influence. Wisdom builds influence. Wisdom is a combination of knowledge and experience matched with perspective. So number 6, past successes. Every time we set a goal, every time we take a risk, every time we step out of our comfort zone and do it, people have more reason to trust our leadership ability. It's building influence. Our past success does not guarantee our future success. However, it builds influence. People want to be led by someone who is doing it and has done it. So find ways to challenge yourselves, set big goals, get into action and activity, decide to make it happen. Results result in influence. It's earned. Now, with that said, don't let what I've just said hold you back from leveling up right now, because sometimes we hear only what we want to hear. So you could have just heard, right, that paragraph, and you could have heard, well, I'm going to translate it to people want to follow people who have done it, and I haven't yet done it, so I don't have any influence in who's going to follow me. Then get on it. Because here's the thing, I was there too. Everybody starts there. We all were. People laughed at me. People thought I was crazy. People flat out said, I'll join you when you show me. I could remember coming home one night from a presentation, shutting my door and kind of sinking down. So I was sitting on the inside of my door with my back up against it, right? And I remember thinking, if you all say this, if you all say that you're going to join me when I show you, how in the world am I going to succeed? How am I going to do it if none of you people join me? Then there it was. It was a light bulb moment. My desire for success had to be bigger than their doubt. My vision had to be bigger than their excuses. My dreams had to be bigger than their limitations. I was determined. Nothing stops determination. I was building it. I was committed. My actions built influence until my results showed up to build influence. Don't discount your action. Nothing was stopping me. The fire in my heart, the passion for my life, the deep knowing I had inside of me that I could change the lives of others. All of this kept me focused. It drove me. I built my influence along the way. People will either see you shrink back or level up as a result of their reaction to you. Give them a show that builds influence. Show them you're going no matter what, rather than building their case, right? Because if some people say it's not going to work, I'm not sure. Every time we slither back, we're not building influence. We're building their case. So number 7, ability. What you can do. That's your ability. What are you capable of? People want to know if their leader can lead them to victory. Leadership is influence. Like, do you believe you have the ability? Because I'm telling you that you do. You have the ability, but you know where our ability lies? Not in what we actually know for a fact we can do. It's what we know in our heart we can do. When we grow our ability, and how do we grow our ability? I know for me, it wasn't just setting a yearly goal. It wasn't just setting a 6-month goal. It wasn't just setting a 30-day goal. It was like, okay, I'm going to set a goal in the next 24 to 48 hours that really scares me. And I'm going to make like in the next 24 to 48 hours, it was the last day of the month. And I'm going to work and I'm going to work and I'm going to work and I'm not going to look up and I'm not going to second guess myself and I'm not going to question and I'm not going to give in and I'm not going to give up. I'm just going to keep pushing until and not give myself a back door. And what happens, and then I would achieve that goal or not achieve that goal. But what do you think I was doing each time? I was growing my ability. And then I would set the next one. And then I would set the next one. You guys, these are the things that leaders do in darkness. They go above and beyond in darkness. They do whatever it takes to grow their results, grow their ability, grow their vision, grow their influence, all of it. Leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. Show your team you can lead them to victory, and you will show that you can positively influence your team. Every single one of us have the ability to lead. We have the ability to influence in a positive way. That's leadership, right? To do this, we must continually grow the 7 factors we just spoke about, right? Because leadership is influence. They go hand in hand. They are one and the same. Growing these factors grows our influence. So start today. Get everyone on board. It's time to level up our influence and lead as many people as we can to positivity, abundance, and success. And these are just a few more tips to build the influence. Integrity. Do what's right. Do what you said. Live in your word. Love your team. Number 2, love is the most powerful source in the universe. Love always wins. People feel love and they react to love. If your team knows you love them, they will trust you. They will work harder. That builds influence. Have faith in your team. If you don't believe in your team, they won't believe in you. This is all connected to influence. Listen to your team. Give them a voice, empower them, throw them in the spotlight. Listening with an open mind and heart builds influence. If your team is afraid of you, they may work for you, but they won't follow you. Lead your team through obstacles. When you lead your team, learn how to navigate your team through troubles. This is huge. You're the light. You're the compass. Have you ever been on a plane and you're nervous? You know, people tell you to look at the flight crew, right? When your team is nervous, they're going to look to you, your light, your positivity, your smile, your reaction. This all builds influence. Set an example. You're the bar. You're a leader. Most people on your team will never grow bigger than you. If anyone is following you, looking up to you, join you in your organization, here's the thing. It is time to level up. You have the ability to influence them, to raise their bar, to reach for the stars, to do more. Everything you do duplicates. Your team copies you. They copy you. And that's the good and the bad. You're the example. Don't just be present. Be on fire. Be the GOAT. Push yourself further than you ever thought you could. Use the gift of leadership that is inside of your heart. Use the gift of leadership to build influence in this world. The world needs your light. Okay? So I'm super excited. On our next episode, okay, we're going to be talking about character and the great character traits that make us a better leader. So love you all. See you Monday.